Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel for a once a year video. This can only be done once. I can't change it because, well, the Premier League kickoff is only a couple of days away. 2 days. Wait, is it tomorrow? I don't know. It's pretty flipping soon, so I have to get this video out for you guys. This is Premier League predictions for the 2020-2021 season on the George Benson football channel. Before we get into it, we're going to start from the bottom, work our way up to the top to see who I think is going to win the league. If you're not yet subscribed to GBFC, I'd like to ask you to do so. We've got the GBFC logo, the Yes guys behind us, and we're going to move straight into things. It's going to be an interesting season, this one. Of course, it's going to start with no fans in the stadium because of Corona, that bloody thing that just doesn't seem to bugger off. But we got no fans. And we do have 20 grounds that will be showing Premier League football all season long. And it's all going to be on TV, which is absolutely fantastic. But there's always three teams who they have to pay the price, you know. Not everyone can remain in the Premier League, and there's going to be three teams relegated, as there is every single season. And sadly, for West Bromwich Albion, I mean, I don't want to start talking about who do I like, who don't I like, but I've always made it quite known on my social media that West Brom are not one of my favourite teams that have ever existed. And I just don't think they're going to have enough Premier League quality in their side this season. I'm not seeing them make big business and big waves in the transfer window. They've actually been linked to Chelsea boy Conor Gallagher on loan, but I think Leeds is probably a preferable move for him. Leeds have obviously another team that have come up. They're spending a lot of money. They're actually investing heavily in their squad. And I don't see the quality in this West Brom team for them to be able to stay up. Sadly, there's also two others. And I think Fulham, even though they're becoming like a yo-yo club, a little bit like West Brom to be honest, I don't think Fulham are going to have enough quality in their squad either. Obviously, it's a very tricky time with Corona. Teams, apart from Chelsea, aren't really as able to spend freely in the transfer window this year. So I look at the Fulham side. Scott Parker, an exciting manager of course, a young manager, but I don't see enough quality. Similarly to West Brom, Fulham to go down, and there's a team I think are going to go down this season in 18th place. And I'll also show 17th at the same time. So between these two, I was umming and ahhing about it because I think they're going to struggle this season, both of them. And it could be one of those that goes down to the final day of the season to see who survives between Brighton and Hove Albion and Newcastle United. Newcastle, it was all looking rosy. It was looking fancy. In fact, it was looking bloody fancy. They were linked with Kylian Mbappe at one point, and then the takeover fell through. Personally, I like Newcastle United. I think it's a great club, great city. And I think they're just about going to stay up based off of nothing other than my own personal bias towards them, to be quite honest. This has disappeared in terms of football rationale right now. I think Brighton have kind of been struggling to score goals a lot since they got to the Premier League. And I think this season could be one season too far. And I think Newcastle will struggle as well. They're looking to make signings now. They've signed Callum Wilson, who's actually a very, very good player, Premier League goal scorer from relegated Bournemouth last season. Callum Wilson could just score enough goals to beat the drop for Newcastle United. So now we move into the teams that probably want to be higher up the table but might just have to settle for being in the bottom half. 16th place, we've gone with Aston Villa. They did very well at the end of last season to stay in the Premier League, and they'll be looking to build upon that this season. At the moment, it's looking likely that they'll keep hold of talisman midfielder Jack Grealish, who's just played for England. And I think they could try and develop this season. But again, I see a lack of quality. I don't see how they've made that step from being a team that just about survive to boosting themselves up the table. So yet again, Aston Villa do survive. They don't go back down to the Championship. I've got them in 16th. And then in 15th place, I've gone for West Ham United. I look at that club right now and I saw so much potential a couple of seasons ago. Whenever I do Premier League predictions, West Ham are often one of the teams that just about make up the top half. From what I saw last season, struggling virtually across everywhere in the club, from the board to the staff to managers being fired to players underperforming. I think it could be another story of that this season for West Ham. Declan Rice, again, he's one of their key players. Could he be on his way to Chelsea? We'll see before the end of the window. They'll be hoping to keep hold of him because if they don't, they might well be in trouble this year. So West Ham in 15th, moving up to 14th in the Premier League table, Leeds United. They're back in the Premier League. I remember growing up watching Leeds United. It was always a spectacle. They're a big club with a very passionate fan base. No, they haven't got one of those. A very passionate fan base. And it's been a long time coming. They've obviously sunk right down to the depths of League One. They've bounced up to the Championship. They've been teasing the playoffs a little bit over the past few years. And then finally, they get promoted. And I think Leeds, they've spent very big. The club that they know that they've really struggled over the past 15 or so years. They don't want to get back into that position. They're spending money on some very good players. We saw Rodrigo played for Valencia last season at Stamford Bridge, scored a very nice goal. He's a very tricky left-footed forward, and I think the players they're trying to invest in shows the ambition of where Leeds United intend to be, and I think they'll be very happy to finish in 14th place. If you're a Leeds fan, let me know your expectations for this season. I expect it's probably to stay in the Premier League at least for this year, and then try and build again next year, but 14th, I think that's being pretty fair, and I can't wait for Chelsea versus Leeds, by the way. Moving up into 13th place in the table, I've gone with Burnley. They always seem to, I guess, over-deliver based off of most people's expectations for how they're going to do. Sean Dyche is a very good manager. They've got a very good defensive strategy at the club. It's looking like they're going to keep hold of Nick Pope, who was one of the best goalkeepers in the Premier League last season. He's been linked with Chelsea, but we're on the verge of signing Edouard Mendy. So Burnley, count your blessings for that one. I've put you in 13th place in the table. And then in 12th, it's the team that, I don't ever think they're going to get relegated. And I don't ever think they're going to finish in the top half anytime soon. Crystal Palace. I've put them in 12th place. Wilfried Zaha has had a very good pre-season. Again, Crystal Palace managed to keep hold of Wilfried Zaha. He is their best player. He's the talisman in that team. And I think that Crystal Palace will be doing enough to stay up. Roy Hodgson as the manager, he's all right, and he's not too bad. So Crystal Palace, mid-table, that was the worst analysis in the world. But we move into the team that miss out on the top half by one place. And I've had to look at the list here. It's Sheffield United on my list. I think they had a very good season last year. Of course, they've got Ethan Ampadu. So as a Chelsea fan, we'll be keeping a close eye on what Sheffield United are doing this season. Very good team to watch, Sheffield United. The way that they're tactically organised, the way they progress the ball from defence up the pitch is very, very good. Chris Wilder's a very good manager. If it wasn't for Liverpool running away with the Premier League in the nature that they did, Chris Wilder would have been a shoo-in for manager of the season. In fact, he was more than a shoo-in for manager of the season. I think they'll just miss out on the top half this time because I'm expecting a very good season from another team on the South Coast, Southampton. A few years ago, maybe in the last 10, 15 years, we've seen some very good Southampton sides. Some would say that at some seasons they've overachieved. Ralph Hasenhüttl, a name that I always seem to get wrong, but I think I've just nailed that one. Very, very good manager. Gets them playing nice football. Towards the end of last season, Southampton actually looked like a good side. Danny Ings, of course, one of the Premier League top scorers from last season. He looks to be staying, and I think he's one of the best strikers in the league for getting you goals. So they might have lost Højbjerg, who's a very good player, but I think they're going to have enough to finish in the top half. Now this is where it gets very interesting. In my opinion, there are 9 teams this season that when I look at everything on paper, which of course is a very dangerous thing to do in football when it comes to making predictions and basic analysis, I think there's 9 teams that are going to be competing for a lot of different positions this season. Well, 9 positions, but they don't really want to be in 9th. The team that I've put in 9th is Leicester City, which might come as a surprise to some of you because they got Jamie Vardy, Brendan Rodgers, he's a decent manager. They've got some very good players. Last season, they only missed out on the Champions League because their form dipped so much when Corona hit and then they came back. They lost their place on the final day. So it looks like a massive drop, and it is a massive drop for Leicester because I think the other teams that I put above them have strengthened so that they're actually going to be a level above Leicester City this season. I think it was key that they got that Champions League football so that they could potentially invest some more money this summer. I don't think Leicester are going to be able to make the top 6 this season. I put them in 9th. And in 8th place, I've gone with a team that are, again, strengthening very heavily. A team that were very impressive last season, apart from when they played against Chelsea. Thank you, Wolves, for the 6 points. Wolverhampton Wanderers, I've got them in 8th place, but I've also got them down to win the League Cup, beating Chelsea on penalties in my stupid prediction I said with my video with Jan. Wolves have strengthened very highly, but again, I think the other 7 teams above them are going to be a little bit better. It's a tough one this year because Wolves will look to build on what they did last season, but the signings I've seen from some other clubs that might be breaking into this top 7, I think it's a slightly more impressive squad. So for that reason, Wolves are in 8th, and in 7th, this is where it does get surprising. Spurs. I've gone with Spurs. They need a striker, and their owner, he's too busy watching his own documentary 150 times on Amazon, so he's not pulling his finger out, putting his 1 thumb, 4 fingers in his pocket and getting a bit of cash out. Spurs, I don't think it's going to be good enough. I think Mourinho is going to want them to strengthen a lot more than they have, and I think they're going to miss out because I think the team that are going to finish 6th, Everton, they've basically bought a Champions League-esque kind of midfield. They've gone in with James Rodriguez, they've got Alan from Napoli, a very useful player. They've also bought one of Watford's best players, and Watford got relegated last season, Abdoulaye Doucouré. Very, very good player. And even with those signings alone, I think with Richarlison still at the club, Everton have got some very good players. They might be getting Fikayo Tomori on loan, and of course, we all know that geezer's pretty decent as well. I think under Carlo Ancelotti, a born winner, a man who's won everything there is to win in the game, I think Everton are going to surprise a lot of people this season. And I know they spent a lot of money, so it might not necessarily be surprising. I think they'll finish 6th, and I think the race for the top 4 might actually include them until the very end of the season. Now then, this is the meat and potatoes. This is the bit you're all here for. Who's going to finish in the top 4? Surely, Benson's not predicted Frankie Lampard's Blues to finish 5th and miss out on the Champions League. You are correct. I don't think they're going to finish 5th, because I think Arsenal will finish 5th. They're all happy because, you know, Aubameyang's there posing with the Community Shield. They're just waiting on that watch to see if he signs that new contract. Yeah, you might win a cup, but I don't think you're getting Champions League football this season. I don't think it's looking like Arsenal. They were linked very heavily with Thomas Partey. I think he'd be a very, very good player to have in the middle for them. It's not looking like they're going to sign him. I think Arsenal are just going to miss out because the 4 teams above them, again, I know this is common sense because it's a prediction video, but I just genuinely think the 4 teams above them have got better squads and are going to do better. So in 4th place, and this could be the end for this manager, Pep Guardiola, Manchester City. I don't think this team are going to be so hungry this season. I've just got a feeling that with everything that went on, and obviously they're back in the Champions League, which is good news, I don't see where the ambition for these City players is going to come from. They're so heavily focused on the Champions League. Last season, Liverpool blew them away. They won the league by an absolute canter. I don't see this season being a successful one for Manchester City. They keep putting all the emphasis on winning the Champions League. They've got to do that for Pep Guardiola to succeed. He's had spent so much money on this squad. And I think Manchester United, Chelsea obviously strengthening as well, Liverpool the champions with one of the best Premier League sides we've seen in recent memory. I just don't think this City team are going to be up for it this year. So in 3rd place, we've got Manchester United, which you know what is coming. We're having a discussion in a moment about whether Chelsea can win the title, so you better stay tuned for that. Manchester United in 3rd. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he wanted Jadon Sancho. He wants Jadon Sancho, and I think that there could be a possibility that that one could actually go over the line before the end of the window. So, United in 3rd. They've signed Donny van der Beek. If Sancho comes in as well, they've got youngsters like Mason Greenwood, Anthony Martial. The United fans rant and rave about him. I think United will be good this season. Bruno Fernandes as well. His stats were incredible when he came in the middle of last season. Him linking up with Pogba and Van der Beek, it's an incredible midfield. No disrespect to United. They obviously had our number last season until it really mattered in the FA Cup semi-final. But United in 3rd, which means Liverpool and Chelsea to battle it out for the Premier League title. Can Frank Lampard, after one of the most incredible transfer windows in living memory, can he do it? Can he bridge that gap between Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool, who were clearly a cut above everybody last season? They ran away with the Premier League. It was done by Christmas. Can Chelsea do it? This is the question that I have literally been sat in that bed, led in that bed. I'm flipping out the pillows the other way round. I'm upside down. My face is on the floor. I don't know. Because I have a feeling that we're going to get very, very close. I think the players we've brought in, yes, there are a few elements to discuss. It's going to take some time to gel. There were huge defensive frailties last season that if Chelsea perform anywhere near that level in defence, we're getting nowhere near the title. I think the quality of the players that we've brought in the areas that we've brought them in, is everything that Chelsea could have wanted this window. As a Chelsea fan, I'm obviously going to do a roundup once the transfer window is closed and we've signed everybody that there is to sign, because who knows, it's Chelsea, there still could be some deals. But we've had an incredible window. There's no doubt in my mind, probably no doubt in any Premier League football club fan's mind right now. But to break the news, I keep changing my mind. I've just got a feeling we might win it. I genuinely, this is all live. I've not planned any of this. Obviously, I wrote down what I think, but I keep changing my flipping mind. I think we could win it. And I genuinely feel like it's going to go down to the final 2 games of the season. And then Liverpool will win it by 1 point. This is a horrible end to this video. I just feel Chelsea are going to get really close. I've got a lot of optimism. You guys know, I'm often the blind optimist. But genuinely, I am super excited for this season. We've got an incredible squad of players now. Strength and depth in virtually every single area. But I think Liverpool will win it again by a single points. And it could come down to whether they make any signings between now and the close of the window. I don't know if they will, but let's hope they don't. And then maybe that 1 point can be in Chelsea's favour. But anyway, as with any video like this one, the main thing for me is to see what you guys have to say. not just about what I've predicted. You might think I'm an absolute idiot who knows nothing about football based off of what you've just heard. That's okay too, but I'd love to hear what your predictions are in the comments down below. If you're not yet following me on Instagram and Twitter, I'd love to ask you to do so at Mr. George Benson. I post on there every single day. Loads of stuff on Instagram stories right now about the clothing line that's launching soon. So if you want to see behind the scenes, that's the place for that one. And obviously this video only comes around once a year. So if we can hit 8,000 likes, then, well, I'll be a very happy man. And I'll see you guys tomorrow, the brand new video, twice. See you later. Bye-bye.